A two-run homer by Dodgers third baseman Max Muncy was enough for the Dodgers to squeeze out a 2-1 win Tuesday night in Philadelphia. The Dodgers wrap up their three-game series in Philadelphia tonight. Somebody in the Miami Heat social media department got a little excited about the possibility of LeBron rejoining the team as a free agent. An announcement was displayed Tuesday on the Heat's YouTube channel promoting a LeBron introductory press conference on July 27th. The staff person created the post to have it ready just in case LeBron picks the Heat. Apparently, the person hit the wrong button and the post went public. The post was visible for about an hour before it was deleted. No word yet on whether the person still has a job with the Heat. The Heat, Golden State, Philadelphia, and Cleveland are the top contenders to sign LeBron. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let me put my hard hat on, go back outside, and see if these procrastination Crenshaw construction crews have shown up yet. I'm saving space for grace, but if these trucks don't show up soon, well, you already know. Destination Crenshaw, your time is up. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. KBLA Talk 1580 and Bethesda Temple Church invite residents, churches, businesses, and community leaders along the Crenshaw corridor to join a vitally important community conversation Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. For years now, this community has been living with unkept promises and the devastating effects of the unfinished Destination Crenshaw construction project, leaving residents, businesses, and churches to deal with myriad problems, including the loss of parking, restricted access, traffic congestion, and a lack of emergency vehicle access when it matters most. For years now, Procrastination Crenshaw has directly contributed to the loss of customer revenue for local black-owned businesses and, sadly, has forced the closure of some businesses along this 1.3-mile corridor. For years now, churches have been experiencing decreased attendance due to the elimination of parking, and social service programs for vulnerable fellow citizens have been altogether halted. For years now, residents have watched their quality of life erode, and nothing has been done about it. If they think they can get away with treating black folk like second-class citizens, they better think again.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me.
This town hall meeting is a reckoning, a public witness, an opportunity for impacted community members to share their experiences for the public record as we prepare to hold those responsible accountable for this enduring nightmare. So please join us Thursday, July 30th, 6:30 p.m. at Bethesda Temple Church, 4909 Crenshaw Boulevard. This town hall meeting is free and open to the public, but registration is required at KBLA1580.com. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
Man, I feel like money. Man, I feel like money. They attracted to me. They come around like honey. They come around like honey. 'Cause I fly like a bee. Man, I got them all buzzing. Back up in the mix like that.
Building Wednesdays, where we center black, women, and BIPOC-owned businesses. Highlight opportunities and initiatives for underrepresented entrepreneurs and center socially innovative enterprises, building generational prosperity, fostering real networking, and recycling black dollars. It's Wealth Building Wednesdays on KBLA Talk 1580.
It is, and Dr. Melina Abdullah, I just kidnapped her and made her stay with me a little bit longer. We don't have a wealth builder today, but then again, we do. Verify Black Owned is a thing that Black Lives Matter Grassroots does, and when we talk about opportunities for Black-owned businesses, in a way, this is an opportunity for Black-owned businesses because one of the things you need to do is get the word out that you exist and get customers.
That's right. So Verified Black Owned is our year-round effort. So everybody knows, I think KBLA listeners especially know that we do Black Xmas every holiday season. where we exclusively build Black, buy Black, bank Black. So we say move your money. We say buy only from Black owned businesses. And we say also, think about whether or not you need to buy stuff in the first place. Maybe you should donate to Black organizations.
Or save your money.
Save your money. But we also do that year round. So I don't know if most people know this or not, but Black Lives Matter Grassroots, we shop, we practice what we preach, we shop exclusively, we deal with vendors that are exclusively Black. So all the meals that are catered, whenever you get the produce back, that's from Black farmers at our monthly meetings, right? All the contractors that we use when we set up sound systems, those are Black contractors. And so we think it's important. It's one of the ways in which we build community, but also say you have to respect Black life if you want to see any Black dollars. So when we say boycott Walmart in the name of Baby Cohen Wiley, we also say, you know what, buy your bike from Ride On, or buy your skateboard from Neighbor's Skate Shop, or buy your wellness from Napoli Naturals and Simply Wholesome. And so verifiedblackowned.com is the website, verifiedblackowned.com, and you can click on the different areas that you're seeking to buy from. You talk about how there's this unofficial boycott of businesses that have, demonstrated their disdain for Black life and have not showed the kind of remorse that's necessary and been held accountable for the murder of Cyrus Carmack Belton. And that many of us, my nails are just terrible. I haven't been, but many of us are deciding, look, if we're going to get our nails done, we're going to get our nails done by Black folks. Well, there are several Black-owned nail shops in Los Angeles. Are you going there? Right? I know you go there, but if you don't know where to go, you can go on Verified Black Owned, and we have them listed.
And there's businesses in many different, Buy Black Los Angeles, Buy Black Tampa, Buy Black Birmingham. There's listings for Black-owned businesses in many areas. Yeah, I did have someone criticize that sort of spontaneous boycott that we're doing, saying that it's xenophobic because a lot of Black folks are just not going to Asian businesses. And her point was, well, this guy Rick Chow, he was Chinese. He doesn't represent all Asians everywhere. And I get that, but also the way I interpret it is what you said. People that are doing business in our community that don't respect us, that follow us around and treat their customers like crap. So if you want to go to Chinatown, if you want to go to Thai Town and go to a Thai restaurant, that's different than a nail salon, hair salon, gas station, doing business that's set up shop in a Black community and is disrespecting us.
That's right. And I want to put, an emphasis on that we are saying also support. So it's not just boycott. It's support Black-owned businesses that are beneficial to Black community. So we ain't going to Roscoe's. They're Black Trumpers, right?
Yeah.
But we do want to support Doolins. And I think it speaks volumes to what we're able to do when we support Doolins. Doolins, I think, is doing okay. Right? We got to keep supporting them. But remember, there was some trouble. Chef Maryland's Black folks came out and said, nah, you're not shutting down Chef Maryland's. So let's make sure that we support Black-owned businesses. And that's what verifiedblackowned.com does.
Verifiedblackowned.com. Verifiedblackowned.com. Now, if I'm a Black-owned business and I want to be included on Verified Black Owned, and also Black Xmas, which is coming up, which helps people shop if they are going to shop with Black stores, how would I get onto that website?
You can DM us at BLM Grassroots. DM us, and we don't allow you to send in your own kind of testimonial, but we'll come out and have a Black Lives Matter Grassroots member record a testimonial. And, if the food is nasty, we ain't doing testimony.
So you that's where the verified part comes in.
That's the verified.
So just DM a BLM Grassroots and ask for
us to come
be
out
part of
and
verified battle.
Yes.
So then you'll verify that they're Black owned and verify that it's worth
spending your dollars
there, and then they'll just get on the website automatically.
Right.
And I know that there are
you don't have to pay.
Videos
There's we'll post it during Black Xmas. We'll post the videos. But yeah, it's a wealth building, collective wealth building opportunity. We're not asking for anybody to pay anything, but it's a centralized place where you can find quality Black businesses that serve Black community.
VerifyBlackOwned.org. Shop there, and if you want to be there, if you want to promote your business, DM BLM Grassroots on Instagram.
Yes.
Best way to go.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Melina Abdullah, thank you so much for being with me this morning, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you, Sister Dominique.
The phone lines are wide open, and we got a few things to cover as per usual. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. The U.S. is going to let Saudi Arabia have nuclear enrichment. This is what we're bombing Iran about. So we need another nuclear weapon holding power. Apparently, that's what the Trump administration believes. We'll talk about that and a few other things when we come forward on KBLA. Oh, my goodness. Nolan Wells, they're having the press conference. We'll talk about that. We got a lot to cover. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
This November, you'll decide who leads California. So shouldn't you hear directly from the people asking for your vote? Join us for California Voices, a political town hall and ballot forum, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026. Meet candidates running for governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, and other major statewide and local offices, including Mayor of Los Angeles, city attorney, and LA County Sheriff. Get clear, nonpartisan breakdowns of the propositions on your November ballot, both sides, no spin. And ask your questions directly, in real conversation, face to face. California Voices is brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and the Empowerment Congress, giving you the information you need before you vote. Mark your calendar, Saturday, October 3rd, 2026, California Voices. Follow KBLA 1580 for details and download the KBLA 1580 app. Your vote, your voice. Be there.
In a world full of noise, one station keeps it real. KBLA Talk 1580, where the conversation goes deeper, the voices sound like yours, and the issues that matter most to our community take center stage. Progressive, powerful, unapologetically us. Whether you're driving through the city or tuning in from your home or office, join the public square. KBLA Talk 1580, your home for talk that enlightens, encourages, and empowers. Listen live on our free KBLA 1580 app, on our website at KBLA1580.com, or on your radio dial at 1580 AM.
Unapologetically progressive.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-550-9651.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-550-9651. That's 800-550-9651.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Follow the leader. KBLA Talk 1580. Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Got your black. Follow the leader. Oh my God. Follow the leader. 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 Follow the leader.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
It does, and you are welcome in at 800-920-1580. I feel like you probably know that already, but there's always new folks here. 800-920-1580. That is the number to call. So in the press conference is taking place this morning. It will be, well, it's going on right now, I think. It's going on right now. We are going to, I'll bring you that information as soon as I'm able to. They are supposed to be talking about the results of that independent autopsy. The autopsy paid for by Colin Kaepernick, which they took Nolan Wells' body to Washington, D.C. to get the autopsy done, to get it out of the hands of Mississippi officials, right? This case has been getting a lot of notice, which is great, because this is what makes it harder for them to sweep it under the carpet. At the same time, there's so much dueling spin. We have a bunch of black celebs who have stepped up and donated money. There's a reward right now for information leading to the arrest and the solving of this case. So all of these things keep people talking about it, and that is important. Colin Kaepernick, they say, paid for the second autopsy, but what I'll say about that is that he has a service. Anyone whose child is killed, or their family member, doesn't have to be a child, whose loved one is killed by police and feels that they need another verification of what actually happened, can reach out to Know Your Rights Camp. That's Colin Kaepernick's organization on Instagram. You can reach out to Know Your Rights Camp, and they have autopsies available. It's not just Nolan Wells. You don't have to have a famous case. Colin Kaepernick will pay for the autopsy for any person killed by police who feels they need an additional analysis of what happened in the case. So while this is being publicized, and I think it's great that he's getting credit for doing this, this is something he does for a lot of families, not just Nolan Wells. The reward is now up to $125,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of anyone in connection with the death of Nolan Wells. The Reverend Al Sharpton put up part of the money. Tyler Perry put up part of the money, and Terrell Owens kicked in $25,000 yesterday. So now we're up to a reward of $125,000. Of course, Nolan Wells' funeral was just a couple days ago. It was heart-wrenching. And Al Sharpton rightly, in the actual eulogy, pointed out that there are still so many unanswered questions. There are still so many inconsistencies in the case that we really don't know what's happening, and it makes it even more gut-wrenching for this family to deal with the loss of their loved one. In the actual eulogy, Al Sharpton was saying, why did his friends leave him behind? Why did they take his phone? Why did they take his keys? Why did they not report him missing to the police? And he said the same thing I've been saying, which is, why are news agencies, and he was talking about police, but I'm talking about news agencies, why are they saying that there's no evidence of foul play, no evidence of a crime? If you don't know what happened, that is not the same as saying there's no evidence of a crime. If someone disappears and you don't know what happened, how can you say there's no evidence of a crime? What they're trying to do is, it seems like what they're trying to do is taint the jury pool, make jurors think, oh, this is already resolved, or oh, we know he drowned. When this first started being reported on, they were talking about how there's these really strong riptides there. But we didn't even, there was no evidence that he drowned. We don't even know he drowned. He was found on shore. He wasn't found in the water. He was found face down. Do we know that his lungs were full of water? Do we know that he drowned? Why are you saying this? You're making assumptions, and assumptions is not how we investigate. And so I thought it was wild but quite appropriate that Al Sharpton underlined this during his eulogy. Now, on Friday, we'll have attorney Tiffany Town and Blacknell here, who has been doing some incredible analysis around the Nolan Wells mysterious death. We'll call it that. I was shocked to see Nancy Grace speaking on this because, you know, she's known for talking about missing persons, dead persons, and I'm used to her talking about white women. Maybe I'm not up on what Nancy Grace has been doing lately, but it was wild to hear her speaking on Nolan Wells and talking about something we spoke on days ago, but nevertheless she still spoke on it, which is the fact that Nolan Wells' mother and father say that there are missing texts, missing Snapchats, things that have been deleted from his phone. And that's really relevant because he didn't have his phone. So that means his friends, or the group of people he went to that island with, had the phone and deleted stuff, or they left it somewhere and someone else deleted it. You know, I don't know how they would get in, but they got in. And that's, I mean, that could be the destruction of evidence. We don't know, but it could be. It certainly is suspect. And so it was just wild for me to hear Nancy Grace, with the intensity that she typically had when talking about Natalie Holloway, a blonde, a white woman, talking about Nolan Wells with that same intensity. Interesting, but also another reminder that many times it's us speaking out and saying, why don't you care when we go missing? That makes these news agencies change whatever small amount they can. Of course, as a result of the parents, first of all, having trouble getting the phone back from the friend group, and then noticing that stuff is missing from the phone, that's what led Ben Crump to saying when the phone was turned over to law enforcement, it's going to be looked at together with the parents and law enforcement, not turning it over to law enforcement to let them do whatever they want with it. And of course, as you know, so many conflicting stories. The friend group says he chose to stay on the island and that he said he was going to get a ride with someone else. The girl he was supposedly talking to said that he told her he was going back to get a ride back with his friends. So boom, two conflicting reports right there. And then the friends saying that they are cooperating with police, but then they shut down all of their social media before it was even reported that he was missing. And then one of the moms of one of the kids gets on, well, they're young adults, not kids, gets on her social media, she's a judge, and starts explaining why they deleted their social media and justifying their actions, which may be a violation of her duties and standards that she's meant to uphold as a judge, because she's trying to influence possible jurors by telling them, oh no, you know, they just they thought he was getting a ride back, and we just deleted our social media because I told them to, because they were getting mean messages and threats. but you deleted it before anyone knew about this. So how could they have been getting mean messages and threats? Things just aren't adding up. Now, we don't know what happened. They could just have panicked. It might, not mean anything. But to say that there's no evidence of foul play, that's just incorrect. So I do agree with Al Sharpton and what he said in that eulogy. He said, people are looking into the Nolan Wells situation because of the history in Mississippi, and we can't have someone, this is a quote, we can't have someone in law enforcement saying there was no foul play before there was an investigation. Let's go to Fred calling us from Los Angeles. Good morning, Fred.
Hello, Dominique. I've been meaning to talk to you on two things, Carmelo Anthony and Keith Porter, and I have one point to make. There's certain things that you don't do. Case in point, your 16-year-old daughter dropped out of high school, but she has a driver's license. You don't buy her a 911 Porsche on her 17th birthday, which leads me to Carmelo Anthony. Now, I saw the knife on TV. They showed it on TV. Looked more like a sharpened shank to me that deep-sea fishermen use. I've seen them use it. They put it on their hip, and when they catch a shark, they stab the shark and kill it. Well, you don't take that knife to school.
What does that have to do with driving? You're not
understanding me?
You're not making sense. Okay, no, you're not. But do we want our kids to bring a knife to school? No. Do lots of young boys do it? Yes. Were those two Metcalf twins known bullies, which is why the prosecution made a handshake deal to keep them off the stand so that it wouldn't become public to jurors that they are in fact known bullies? Yes, and that is one of the reasons why that is one of the reasons why the defense has been granted a new judge and may end up getting a new trial. Okay, your next point.
Okay, what intrigues me is if the victim was black, the two white guys, one of them got stabbed. If he was black, you guys wouldn't be raising all this time because you wouldn't raise this racial issue.
You know what? I'm not that simple. You may be, Fred, but I'm not. I actually look at the facts of the case. Keith Porter, go ahead.
Yeah, the man that got killed, supposedly Keith Porter, I guess that's the name. I don't know the name of the guy.
His name is Keith Porter, and you do. Oh, who killed him? Brian Palacios, allegedly.
Okay, yeah, by your admission and the family's admission, he went out front to the parking lot across the street and was shooting his gun up in the air on New Year's Eve. Now, if you were the ICE agent inside the same apartment building listening to this, and you have peace officer status, are you supposed to just listen to this and hopefully a bullet doesn't go up in the air and
like
come
you
down
said,
through your roof?
like you said, you don't know the story because when Brian Palacios shot and killed Keith Porter had put his weapon away and was going back into his house. He was near his own apartment, getting ready to go into his house. But Mr. Wannabe George Zimmerman went running into his apartment and came back in full tactical gear. There was nothing going on. There was no shooting. He shot Keith Porter in cold blood. Fred, my question to you is, why are you defending the murder of black men? What made you wake up in the morning and say, I think I'll call in the radio and justify people murdering black men and jailing black teenagers for defending themselves? What kind of mindset is that? If you want to stick with me, I'll allow you to answer. We've got news, traffic, and sports, then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
The station you turn to when you've had it up to gear with cultural incompetence. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New York City officials say 4 people have died in a Legionnaire's disease outbreak on the Upper East Side, with 76 reported cases. Mayor Zohran Mamdani is reacting.
I'm heartbroken by the loss of our fellow New Yorkers and send my deepest condolences to their loved ones.
Health officials say cooling towers linked to the bacteria have been disinfected, and no new cases have been reported since July 15th. Historic Shiloh Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. has welcomed Reverend Essentino A. Lewis Jr. as its new senior pastor. Lewis now becomes the 7th senior pastor of the landmark church, a longtime fixture in civil rights and community advocacy. And social media influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate are facing newly unsealed sex trafficking, rape, and assault charges in Florida tied to allegations from women in the United Kingdom. British authorities are seeking their extradition. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Beat the heat without breaking the bank at Wild Rivers Water Park in Irvine. Summer's hottest days mean the coolest savings at wildrivers.com. With 25 attractions to thrill and chill, Wild Rivers delivers sun and fun for everyone. Visit wildrivers.com for more information.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from Nits and the Ad Council.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A two-run homer by Dodgers third baseman Max Muncy was enough for the Dodgers to squeeze out a 2-1 win Tuesday night in Philadelphia. The Dodgers wrap up their three-game series in Philadelphia tonight. Somebody in the Miami Heat social media department got a little excited about the possibility of LeBron rejoining the team as a free agent. An announcement was displayed Tuesday on the Heat's YouTube channel promoting a LeBron introductory press conference on July 27th. The staff person created the post to have it ready just in case LeBron picks the Heat. Apparently, the person hit the wrong button and the post went public. The post was visible for about an hour before it was deleted. No word yet on whether the person still has a job with the Heat. The Heat, Golden State, Philadelphia, and Cleveland are the top contenders to sign LeBron. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Small businesses are the heart of America. Like you, these entrepreneurs started out with a dream and a drive to build a better life. If you have a small business idea to grow or challenge to face, you don't have to go it alone. Since 1964, SCORE has helped millions of entrepreneurs build their businesses. Today, they are the nation's largest nonprofit source of expert mentoring, resources, and education. Whether you're starting out, building back, or have worked at it for years, SCORE will match you with specialized mentors. Our thousands of volunteers provide the guidance and connections you need for free. Your success is waiting. SCORE is ready to help. Find a mentor today at score.org.
Back to school starts now. Get long-lasting battery life on the Dell XPS laptop powered by Series 3 Intel Core so you can work from anywhere. Now starting at $699 with exclusive student pricing starting at $599. Complete your setup with savings on select monitors and must-have electronics and accessories. Limited time deals and free shipping on PCs and more await you at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
This summer, the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich and Pineapple Dragon Fruit and Sprite are back at Chick-fil-A.
Girl, it's back. We've been waiting. I love that honey pepper pimento sandwich.
And that pineapple dragon fruit and Sprite is everything. It's got that razzle-dazzle that makes you stop and say, okay, wait a minute.
I love the creaminess of the pimento cheese. It's savory, it's bold, it's flavorful.
Our faves are back. High five, girl.
Which fan favorite will you choose? Real customers paid for their testimonials.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTRCM. Broadcasting live from Leimert Park, USA. Welcome back to your home for unapologetically progressive radio, KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, man. Prince Akili said, why you go in on Fred so quick? And I'm glad you pointed that out, Akili. It's because Fred is our resident Republican who claims he's not a Republican. He's an independent, he says, so I'll call him an independent, who brings the Republican talking points every week. And number one, so I kind of pretty much know where he's coming from. But also, he called with not too much time before we went into news, traffic, and sports. So I didn't want to just leave those talking points hanging in the abyss. He called to put me in check for defending a black teenager who should not be serving a 35-year prison term, which is what he is doing now as his new lawyers seek to overturn a terrible verdict. It should have been a clear case of self-defense, and they've already appointed a new judge, so it's moving in the right direction. And then he called to chastise me for defending Keith Porter, a girl dad, 2 beautiful daughters, who was murdered by an off-duty law enforcement agent, federal law enforcement, ICE officer, who decided to go run into his apartment, put on his gear, run back out, and kill a man who was on the way back into his apartment. Now, it's true he was shooting. It was New Year's Eve. And allegedly, I mean, that's what the family says, but he was in a parking lot away from where anyone was. It's not like he was shooting where there were a bunch of people around. And he lived in that complex. And apparently, the Brian Palacios, the killer, said something to him like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And he's like, mind your business, because the guy was in civilian clothes. And so he ran back into the apartment, got on his tactical gear, and then found Keith not shooting and killed him. And that's why people, activists across the nation, but particularly here in L.A., are calling for District Attorney Nathan Hochman to bring charges against Brian Palacios, to arrest Brian Palacios and bring charges against him. The reports have been finished by the LAPD, so where are the charges? Fred, did you want to say something? I said that I will let you clap back if you wanted to do so.
Yeah, I want to respond to that part about why is it always me defending somebody white. But the truth of the matter is, both of these gentlemen, they put themselves in their position. If they were white, we wouldn't be having this conversation. If Carmelo Anthony, if the victim was black, we wouldn't have this conversation.
You're telling me that if an ICE agent murdered a white person, we wouldn't be talking about we wouldn't be talking about Renee Good. We wouldn't be talking about Alex Preddy. I wouldn't. I didn't. You must not. You must have missed a few days of the show.
Which brings me to answer your question. If Renee Good didn't put herself in that position, she would still be alive today. She had no business.
So you're an equal opportunity police defender. Okay, but that's my point. Was I didn't say why are you defending white people. I said why are you on here justifying the murder of one black man and the jailing of a black teenager, and this is what you want to spend your time doing, is justifying the murder and oppression of your own people. That to me is just weird. I'm sorry, Fred. I'm not calling you weird, but I am calling the behavior weird. It's just weird. That's, to me, that's my perception. I think I'll wake up, it's 7:30 in the morning. I think I'll call Dominique and justify the murder and jailing of some black man. That seems like a good thing to do with my time today. Our Father who art in heaven, please keep Carmelo Anthony.
Get all the facts out, Dominique.
Those are not facts. Those are your opinions. But anyway, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting the station. We shall agree to disagree, and I will continue to keep you in my prayers, Fred.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. You know, I met Fred. He came to our State of Black Women in L.A. that we had at Doolin's, and he was nothing like how I imagined he would look. He's a tall, thin, distinguished-looking black gentleman. I would never have guessed that these thoughts are going around in his mind. But, you know, don't judge a book by its cover, I guess. And I hope that, you know, as he listens to this show and participates with our KBLA delegation, that perhaps he'll find some other perspectives that he finds influential to his way of thinking. I mean, we're talking about Mississippi with Nolan Wells. With Carmelo Anthony, we're talking about Texas, and Texas has their own history. We're talking about L.A., where the ICE agents were unleashed first in the country and went buck wild. And yet you think that the important thing to do is call me and say why it was a good idea to put a teenager in jail for 35 years for defending himself from bullies, and why it was a good idea from white bullies was surrounded by a crowd of a lot of other white folks, and in which clearly he did not mean to kill that kid. Yeah, it's really sad. I mean, I am actually, Fred, sad for the Metcalf family too. Their young man is also dead, but they were threatening a kid, a 17-year-old kid who's about a third of their size, half their size, no, maybe 2/3 their size. Because they weighed about over 200. He weighed 150. Anyway, these are not things that happen in isolation either. Okay, so the Trump administration has decided that it's announcing that it has reached a nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia. And this nuclear agreement includes the possibility for them to enrich uranium. So, in other words, build a nuclear weapon. We're talking about the Middle East here. Saudi Arabia, an ally, but also, not always an ally. I mean, read 9/11, right? It's supposed to create this new, stronger ties between the Saudi government and the U.S. government. As in the middle of the war in Iran, which is creating problems between the U.S. and most Middle Eastern countries, including Saudi Arabia. Is this the time to give them a nuclear weapon? Is it ever the time to give anyone a nuclear weapon? I thought the idea was nuclear disarmament globally, if possible. Not adding more nuclear powers on any side of the aisle. Least of all in the Middle East. That, to me, is wild. First, the Trump administration tears up an agreement that Obama managed to reach, which was stopping Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Now, who knows what they're doing? Because we're at war with them. So that agreement is history. First, the Trump administration tears up an agreement that would stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Now they're signing a deal that will give Saudi Arabia the possibility of a nuclear weapon. So what we can say now, the legacy of this Trump administration, one of the legacies of Trump is the nuclear arming of the Middle East. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. You get a nuclear weapon, and you get a nuclear weapon, and you get a nuclear weapon, and you get a nuclear weapon. And this joker wants a peace prize. Well, he got the FIFA Peace Prize. May have been one of the most violent World Cups ever, now that I think of it. But, wow. That's amazing to me. Saudi's already not super happy with us because of what's happening in Iran, so we think we should give them a nuclear weapon. I don't even know what to say about that. regardless, they could be the best. They could be the best ally ever. Do we want them to have a nuclear weapon? That's crazy to me. But, you know, I kind of get tired of saying that. I feel like that's crazy to me is kind of like the tagline for the second Trump administration. And I get tired of talking about him because there's other things that we need to also focus on. And I don't want him to suck up all my energy. But at the same time, we need to be aware of what is being done. You know, as I talked about earlier, we're starving humans and literally killing babies in Cuba because we're cutting off their ability to have gas and oil. So the hospitals do not have electricity. So babies are dying because they can't have a NICU services. Elders are dying of preventable diseases, preventable conditions because they can't get things like dialysis because they don't have electricity. But today we're sending them 5 days worth of crackers. Oh, the irony. That's this administration. And so that's crazy to me, is now their tagline, and without turning into a pearl clutching hand wringer, I will continue to speak out, and I will continue to help us remember what the heck is going on. What? Oh my. Okay, we do have a lot to talk about. Breaking news here on CNN. A recruiter who introduced Epstein to models apparently found dead in France. Oh my. This conspiracy, this circle of crime just won't stop growing, will it? 800-920-1580 if you want to say a thing about a thing. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
Listen up, KBLA delegation. We have something you need to hear. Right now, you may qualify for low-cost home internet. And we're not talking about a catch. This is real. Many internet service providers offer low-cost internet plans if anyone in your household is enrolled in CalFresh, Medi-Cal, SSI, or is income eligible. There are a lot of families in our community who deserve to be connected. Here's all you do. Call 844-461-7893. That's the Get Connected call center. Real people ready to help you enroll today. Or go online to internetforallnow.org to find a provider near you. You may also qualify for a low-cost computer through Human IT. Connectivity is not a luxury. In 2026, it's a necessity. And you deserve access just like everybody else. Call 844-461-7893. That's 844-461-7893. KBLA's got you. If you missed any of this, you can always go to our website at KBLA1580.com. Brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 in partnership with the California Emerging Technology Fund, CETF.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Hi, I'm Zoe Williams, a.k.a. the Voice of Reason, encouraging you to join me weekdays from 7 to 9 p.m. for the world's most intriguing relationship radio roundtable. Every night, I facilitate and encourage our loyal listeners to participate in the most engaging relationship discussions you'll hear anywhere. So make it a point to rendezvous with me, Zoe Williams, the Voice of Reason, Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Trust me, your relationships will never be the same. The VOR is on fire tonight.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions.
These are hard times for housing in America. Too many in our community face barriers to safe housing, behavioral health care, and affirming spaces for healing, particularly those impacted by poverty and stigma or incarceration. Rooted in South LA, Ahmad supports impacted communities through housing, wellness, and leadership development. Ahmad provides culturally responsive, peer-led support from transitional housing and mental health services to leadership development and youth empowerment. They offer safe, affirming houses for youth, transgender women, and formerly incarcerated individuals. Therapy and peer support with a focus on healing trauma in Black communities. HIV prevention and care, free testing, education, and wraparound services for whole person wellness. Standing in the gap with health, housing, and hope. Reach out to Ahmad Institute at 323-569-1610. That's 323-569-1610. Or visit amaad.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate meets a scholarly match.
Indeed, it does meet a scholarly match. I'm trying to figure out exactly what is happening with Nolan Wells. What we know for sure, Attorney Ben Crump is reporting that the independent autopsy so far revealing that the time, cause, and manner of death of Nolan Wells is still undetermined. They said that they're going to continue to investigate here. The doctor who did that autopsy said that he could not rule out foul play. So what were we just talking about? These law enforcement agencies jumping up and saying there's no evidence of foul play. And my point was there's no evidence of not foul play either. Ben Crump says that the doctor said we cannot rule out foul play. He said that the autopsy found red discoloration on the back of his head. And he also said that there were missing body parts and incomplete procedures. Missing body parts, how does that happen? Does that mean that that's what I was trying to figure out. Because does that mean that the other doctors in Mississippi didn't send all of his body parts? Or that there were body parts missing when they found him dead? This is the part that I haven't been able to determine based on what I'm reading, based on what Ben Crump is posting, and based on, that they're saying that there's missing body parts, including the throat. Nolan Wells' throat is missing. Now, it could be, and what I'm reading here, but I don't trust the mainstream media, but I'm reading in NBC here that the Mississippi coroner may have kept his throat because they may still be testing the throat and sent the rest of Nolan. That sounds weird to me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, the throat seems like it would be crucial if someone was, choked, hung, anything like that, you would want to see what happened with their throat. So if it is in fact true that the Mississippi coroner is holding back some body parts, I assume they will send them at some point. And there's also no toxicology report. But this is all pending because they're not done yet. The autopsy was done on July 10th. That's 6 days after his body was 4 days after his body was found. And the Jackson County coroner in Mississippi has also done an autopsy, but their results have not been released yet. They say they're waiting on the toxicology report, and presumably they have the throat. That doesn't even sound right when I say it. But the fact that they can't rule out foul play, the fact that they're finding these red colorations on the back of his head, it keeps the questions coming. And what Ben Crump is saying in this press conference is that the important thing is, what was the condition of Nolan Wells before he went into the water, which makes sense, because if he was murdered and then thrown into the water, or murdered and fell into the water, or killed, died somehow, and then was caught up by the tide or something, died on shore and got drifted out somehow to sea, it would be the condition of his body before death that would tell the biggest story, because if he was ever in the water, that means his lungs would be full of water. But the other thing that is troubling is that the doctor said he was not able to determine. It's Dr. Roger Mitchell is the guy who did it. He's a forensic pathologist. He's the president of the National Medical Association, which is the oldest group of black doctors in the country. So not only did they take it out of Mississippi, they took his body to be examined by the head of the Association of Black Doctors. Ben Crump is not playing. But what he said was that they couldn't tell how much bruising was on the body because it was already too decomposed. So if there was a plan to hide the body, not call for a search right away, it was partly successful in that they didn't find his body for a couple of days, right? And by the time those couple of days pass and then the autopsy in Mississippi passes and they get the body to the black doctor, it's already so decomposed that he cannot tell how much bruising is on that body. The Jackson County coroner says the state autopsy report is still not done, which is interesting that, they had the body for 4 days before the black doctors and they're still doing their autopsy. The doctor says he can't tell whether Nolan Wells was conscious when he went into the water or how he got in the water. And all of these are crucial pieces of evidence. Crucial pieces of evidence. Yeah.
It should be pretty much over. I mean, they had the funeral on Monday, so there's no more investigation and no more new news that's going to be coming out of this, right?
We don't know. New pictures could come out. New witnesses could come forward. More video.
I mean, it's not going to be any more no more autopsy investigation on his body then.
Well, the autopsy done by the black doctor is not completely finished. If they get a chance to examine those missing body parts, for example, they may find out more. But yeah, this is what they have so far. The Jackson County, Mississippi one, they're just doing it however fast or slow they're doing it. And their report is not ready yet.
They're busy. They got a lot of stuff going on in the coroner's office, I guess.
Yeah, that Jackson, Mississippi, I guess they are kind of busy down there. Yeah. But clearly Ben Crump is committed to keeping us updated on every new development, and we will do our best to do the same. News, traffic, and sports, then more. Shar Joselle joins me. She is the president of the National Association of Black Journalists here in Los Angeles. That's next, only right here.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. New York City officials say 4 people have died in a Legionnaire's disease outbreak on the Upper East Side, with 76 reported cases. Mayor Zohran Mamdani is reacting.
I'm heartbroken by the loss of our fellow New Yorkers and send my deepest condolences to their loved ones.
Health officials say cooling towers linked to the bacteria have been disinfected, and no new cases have been reported since July 15th. Historic Shiloh Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. has welcomed Reverend Essentino A. Lewis Jr. as its new senior pastor. Lewis now becomes the 7th senior pastor of the landmark church.